What I'm going to show you guys is my reaction to the ending of Luffy versus Katakuri, which some of you may know. I'm going to assume you don't know. I did not like the ending of Luffy versus Katakuri. Yes, you can leave your think pieces for next week or another video because I understand. I already know what you're going to say. I didn't understand it. There's so many themes. Luffy's the MC, bro. But I just didn't like the ending of Luffy versus Katakuri for various reasons that I would not get into today. But since you have the time, no, seriously, just watch this quick video.
A week break, so we're not gonna waste any more time. Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. One Piece chapter 896. So Luffy fell in this giant hole. Katakuri falls as well. The double KO. Well, Katakuri still didn't fall on his back. And here he is on his back. That ain't it. Not a good end to a fight.
Yeah, as you're going through it, you probably would realize that as things are happening, I'm on severe copium. I'm trying to talk myself through what's happening, but it is failing terribly. Yeah. So there you have it. What this video did show me was that ending to the One Piece fights, it has a lot of build-up and expectation. The expectation does not generally come from just the reader. It comes from Oda within the story. The whole point of Oda and how he writes his story is based on a few factors. And I hate getting into boring bullshit, but traditionally in a narrative arc, you have exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. One Piece is long as fuck, right? So with us, with the exposition, we've gotten that since Zou, where we get in the story of Oden and what happened to Oden and why we should care about Oden. Mind you, we didn't see Oden for a good 50 or 60 chapters after he was actually mentioned. Not a problem because Oda set it up in a great way and you were excited for Oden even though he was revealed in the anime before he was revealed in the manga. Just true anime fashion. I mean, he was mainly silhouette, but you could tell how he looked, right? And mind you, he had a mustache for whatever reason in the anime. Then we get to rising action. It's a weird one with One Piece because you would assume that the triggering event that kind of sets the story in motion happened all the way in Punk Hazard with Momonosuke and Kinemon going along with the crew. But then we get to Zou and Raizo is safe. That triggered an event, of course, the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance. The story of Wano is really long and there's several moments, even all the way back in Thriller Bark, which hints towards what could possibly happen in Wano. So for me, the rise in action probably, I would say, starts picking up even before we get to Wano. There are a lot of roundabout things that goes on in the One Piece arc, but the exposition is pretty damn long. So I would even say the exposition for Wano got even all the way up to Onigashima. The rising action, when shit really starts to get going, I would say once they start the actual raid. This is the incident, the triggering event, right? This is when we start to see what the whole purpose of being here is, and that's to, of course, take down Kaido, which we knew for a long time, but this is what really sets shit in motion. This is what we're here for. Then we get to the climax. This is the highest point of tension in the story. And of course, subplots and characters, all these different things meet at one point. I believe we're at the climax. And so for years of exposition, years of rising action, and to get to a climax like this, does it live up to the hype? When you reread to chapter 1049, Oda's tying up multiple plot points and even bringing back things that we knew from Act 1 with how Luffy cares about making sure that Tama was eating. That goes back to Ace and everything is tying together with Kaido and this climax. But again, putting it in perspective for me, why did I think the assumed highest point of tension in our story is fine, right? Because I don't think this is necessarily the resolution because it's not over. And I think that's the main point here because we have to go through falling action to get to the resolution. Nobody wants to hear this, which is wait and see, because typically that's the conversation with One Piece, but it's literally wait and see. But going back to why I didn't feel much on this ending, it was maybe intentionally anticlimactic. I don't think this is the end. And that is just being genuine and honest as possible because the Kaido backstory, there has to be more to it. Now, there are people that are saying we don't need a backstory. There are people pre-time skip in which the villains were amazing. We didn't get backstory. But this time is different because Oda has intentionally left things out, even in the backstory in real time about Kaido that is important to his story. Again, his whole existence, him being an Oni, what is that all about, right? Where did you come from? We say it all the time, Oda likes to plan things out. We saw how the numbers, they're probably connected to the ancient race that was in Punk Hazard. And of course, Punk Hazard, that was connected to Kaido with Momonosuke and the smile. We need some more in regards to Oni and the continent polars, which will tie to the Void Century. All this has to come. And then of course, we're gonna get some more rock stuff. Also, how does it tie to Wano? The reasons for choosing Wano, and then also how did he find out about Joy Boy? Perspective is important here because a lot of comments, if you go through, I'm gonna put some of them here, some of the just comments about people not liking the chapter, some are valid, some aren't. Typically people that are casual, they're gonna rock with it because they're not discussing and dissecting the story every single day. The hardcore audience of the people that I see are more upset because they live for this shit. which One Piece, of course, sometimes is victim to over speculation, over dissection. In this case, it is okay with it being a 50-50 chapter. There are people that have said they've cried from this chapter, and there are people that are saying that they've cried tears of joy because it seems like the arc is finally over. To the major thing everyone keeps talking about, Oda's quote about Kaido being powerful, let's dissect that really quickly. This is the actual quote. Kaido is incredibly powerful. When Kaido appeared for the first time, I said that Luffy can't defeat such a strong character yet, and I'm yet to know how Luffy would defeat Kaido. Probably my audience will not be satisfied if the reason for defeating Kaido is just because Luffy's punch is so strong. Luffy and I have to find a solution somehow. So with this, myself and others started to feel like, well, Oda's gonna find a really creative and clever way to defeat Kaido that does not involve just a big, strong punch. Cue One Piece chapter 1049, we get a big, strong punch. Now, in this instance, some would say, well, Oda did not actually say he would not defeat Kaido without a punch. He just said, well, my audience will not be satisfied with just Luffy having a punch that's so strong. So I'm assuming this is before Gear 5, before all of these different things that Oda thought of. And so Oda said, well, I brought him Gear 5, I brought him Ryo, I brought him Conqueror's Haki coding. Now, right, they should be satisfied with Luffy's punch because this is how Luffy ends his fights. Some could say severe copium. Others could say, well, I guess so. Some would say, well, okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Brago. And the whole point of this is going to be subjective. I don't think there's a right answer here. Stories are about how you absorb them, especially One Piece, what it means to you. Everybody has so many different moments in One Piece that matters so much to them. Nothing happened. I want to live. Thank you for loving me. At least I have my friends. People have different moments in the story that resonate differently with them. For Luffy versus Katakuri and the ending wasn't for me. I've come to terms with it and, I've accepted it, but it wasn't for me. Other people loved it. They felt like the nuance and how vague things were initially, because remember, we had come off break before that happened. And then the chapter came and we didn't even see the final blow in the manga. Some people love the fact that Oda sometimes make you think. But I guess the whole point of this, right? Within the community, you're going to see good, you're going to see bad. More good than bad, though. That's something that's important to point out. There's a lot more positive reactions in the community than bad, so just want to let people know that. But there are several people that are in high positions that I won't say right now, that are not really happy with what's going on here. If this is indeed the end, and after rank fights in One Piece, Luffy versus Kaido would go, I'll say that, actually. But we've got exposition, rise in action, climax. The climax still isn't over. Still got to get to the fallen action and the resolution. And then we can probably judge the arc. I think Wano has been the most judged arc ever, but it's not the fault of the audience. Wano was hyped up to all hell before we even got there. Where people were saying, let's leave Whole Cake Island and get to Wano. Marineford looking cute. All these different conversations were happening before we got to Wano. In some instances, for some people, Wano never had a chance. For me, Wano has been a joy. It's had amazing moments that I've loved, and overall, I think Wano is a great arc. So I would say try to block out the noise, but don't dismiss every critique of the story. Some people actually have valid points in regards to why they don't enjoy it. And again, it is unique to them. People that try to make this objectively bad, you don't have to listen, because I don't think it's that cut and dry. More is to come. We literally don't know what's gonna happen. Relax, just chill on both ends. People that really love it and people that really hate it.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite